Welcome back to Court TV Live, your front row seat to justice. I'm Julie Grant, and this is your daily sidebar. Wow, we just heard about some breaking news moments ago that defendant Erica Stefanko is set to testify on her own behalf. She has every right to sit there, say nothing. The jury cannot hold that against her. The defense has no burden at all. The whole burden lies with the state of Ohio in proving these allegations against her, but she's making the choice to get up and share her story. So I want to bring in my colleagues and see what they think about this. Michael Ayala and Ted Rollins are joining me now. Michael, I'll start with you. What do you think of this decision by Erica Stefanko, and can she possibly help herself by testifying?
Well, okay, it's a compound question, but I'm going to answer it anyway. She can help herself, right? Because I feel like I've done informal surveys, right? It's one of the things we do around here in the newsroom, including you, Julie Grant. And most of the people I spoke with, there are a couple who think that the prosecution has met their burden. Most don't. That in and of itself, the fact that there's disagreement suggests there might be reasonable doubt here. I think the defense attorney feels that he's got some reasonable doubt here, which is why I think he wanted to get on the record the fact that they've had these conversations. I see that he is trying to convince her not to take the stand. I think he thinks he has enough. I think there's reasonable doubt here. And I think by getting on the stand, she can only hurt herself. But if she's adamant about doing that, it is her right, and we'll have to see what happens.
Okay, so if it were you, you would say, let's just go with the reasonable doubt that exists now, take our chances. Of course, the right lies with her. The attorney can advise her all day long, but at the end of the day, it's her decision.
Exactly.
But I hear what you're saying. You think there's enough reasonable doubt that the defense could be successful here and win. Ted, what do you think about that, about the point Michael made, the reasonable doubt, and then what's your reaction to her wanting to testify?
Yeah, there's reasonable doubt, but I do think that right now there's a very good chance they come back with a guilty verdict. And if she takes the stand and she has an actual explanation of what happened that night that's plausible, believable, all kind of better than the other one, then she's golden. There's already some reasonable doubt. If she can get up and say, yeah, I made the call to the pizza place, but it was because of a meeting that I thought was just going to, be between those two to hammer out the child custody issues. I had my kids with me. I mean, did I think there was going to be a murder? Are you kidding me? No. And then once there was a murder and I saw I was covered in blood, I was petrified. I was there to just take care of my kids. Now it makes sense that's possible, and I think she walks.
Right. I'm with you. My take on it is, generally, and I'm sure you gentlemen both agree with me, generally defendants don't help themselves when they testify, but sometimes they do. And I've had cases, I've been on the losing end of some cases as a prosecutor where they have, and not one as serious as this one, I will say that, but sometimes a defendant's testimony can be beneficial to a judge, to a jury. And here, I think because Chad's story was so vague, where he needed to be specific, it lacked specificity. And I blame the prosecution for that. They should have asked him specifically exactly what he did and what she did. And where I think the biggest opening is for the defense to move forward and solidify her innocence is that Chad admitted that the two of them did not plan this murder together. Michael, your thoughts on that fact, please.
I agree with you, but I think there was a reason the prosecution pulled back on the specificity. I think it became clear, and again, we talked about this before, Julie, where I felt initially it seemed like he wasn't as well prepared as you thought he would have been by the prosecution. But I don't think that was the prosecution's fault. I think this guy has gone off on a whole nother thing. I think the prosecution realized that during questioning. I think they cut it short. I said, you know what? The deeper we go into this guy's story, the more surprises we're going to get. Let's just stay with what we have. And I think they just decided to go with that, thinking that maybe they had more. They had her own voice on tape. They also had GC testifying about what she heard. Maybe they thinking that that was enough. So as far as that goes, I agree with you, but I think I changed my feeling over time now that I see where he went, not only on the rest of direct, but also on cross.
Ted, how do you think she needs to come off for this jury? What do you think they're going to be looking for and wanting to hear from her?
Well, she can't lie, and I just can't believe she didn't make that pizza call, because that it doesn't make sense that she didn't. Who else did? Mama Cobb? I doubt it. So if she embraces the bad facts and she embraces that she made that call, I think she just has to be honest, because that would be then the truth. I don't think she knew that Ashley was going to be murdered that day. It doesn't make any sense. Why were the kids there?
Right. She absolutely has to own that call. She has to be apologetic, sympathetic. But then I think where she has an opportunity to explain is in what she knew at the time of the call. If there was no plan in place, I think she is going to walk. Ted, Michael, thank you so much.